Hi there and welcome back to the Renegades of Punk and in Deadfire and to the Crucible, my friends. Deep thinkers. We're now going to go for the GUL Trouble Endurance Trial. We'll test our mettle against an unending mass of ghouls. All living things that may prey to the ghouls, fight and survive or lay down and die. So that's the circle of ghouls. And what we'll do is, if there's something glowing in the Crucible, it's always the thing that you activated by going to the glowing thing. And what we're doing right now is we're preparing. So we're setting up the perfect formation against the ghouls. We have prepared against mostly vessels because, yeah, we have Grave Calling here, which is good against vessels. But other than that, we don't have much. I mean, we could use it, but it's a saber and we're not trained in sabers and so on. They're immune to poison disease. They're relatively easy to hit, but this is only a level 3 ghoul, so that's only the very easy, even if scaled up ghouls. And there's, of course, gonna be some things that we can do, but we can already see that they have relatively low will and that they're susceptible to burn damage, for example, and I think also to crush damage. Ghouls are relatively easy to hit, but there seems to be quite a number of them, and we'll now find... Oh, look at that. So just the surrounding thing, at about 10 ghouls, or maybe 8 ghouls, are going around here. So we have Dargul Marksman. We're going for a Dire Blessing, of course. Get the buffs in first, get the Substantial Phantom, and I think we need to guard ourselves. We need to get back there and then fight our way out against these ghouls, because there's quite a number of them. And as you can see, they even have marksmen, and this means they can focus, and focusing is just dangerous for us, because focusing is what basically differentiates you from the AI. The AI in these games will usually not focus. Sometimes they will, and then they are pretty deadly. Focusing is the most deadly thing you can do, apart from, of course, countering abilities and going for the weapon that is best suited against the enemies and so on. But yeah, so what we'll do is we'll kill the ghouls. It's as easy as that. It's an endurance trial. We'll just kill the ghouls and we'll see what happens, right? So we'll focus them down one by one. And this is a survivor trial. The survivor trials, it's always not so much about how long you need. It's more about saving resources. You should not do the thing that brings you to the goal quickest, like eliminating these ghouls, but it's about the thing that is most economical to use. It's an economical fight. You should try to be as economical as you can, because there will be more fights. Usually in the survival branch of the Crucible, there will be a couple of fights, and after you've finished the first wave, there will be a second, maybe a third, maybe a fourth, maybe a fifth, and maybe a sixth wave that is coming full of ghouls. Or whatever is there. And we'll see how many of these we'll see now. Because when the description is calling for unending waves of ghouls, then you can already see they're all there, and we should really have stayed further behind. We should have probably attacked with ranged weaponry, but this is also okay. It's not bad. It's of course, a paw goes down. That's really something in the later stages of the game that no really matter what you do, your pet will have a tendency to go down. It's true for all a little bit weaker characters. There will be a tendency for them to go down due to bursts of damage. It's hard to make them as stable as they can be in the middle game and even in the early game. So the end game is extremely dangerous for the pet and for the others if you cannot stop attackers at them. As you can already see, of course, yeah, our priest is already in a very, very bad situation, and there's so many things that can stop you from healing. Of course you can cure, but then you still have low hit points, right? You cannot like all the time cure and stuff, because a lot of these abilities that your opponents use, they're just repeatable. We're healing a little bit ourselves because it's been a little bit terrible, and now we'll see what we can do with that. In general, we're just focusing down the ghouls step by step, and you can see they're in the back line, which is just terrible for us because they'll be able to attack our weakest, like Cailvassa, like Quoril. Surprisingly, not so much Gurstine, even though she's got the lowest hit points. But she's got such good defenses with the mage abilities that you can really think about also building alternative characters that use these abilities to get a great defense. You don't need great defensive stats. You can just have these spells as a defense, and you'll be at least relatively good, right? For a combined arcane, maybe melee character, that would be just a great thing to do. Going chain lightning, because chain lightning is pretty good. If you have a couple of enemies together, but like in your middle, then you'll use chain lightning. If they are outside your group, you use the area spells. Otherwise, you use chain lightning, because chain lightning is also pretty great. And it can crit very well, and then when it crits, then it interrupts, and so on. And what you need for that is perception. Perception leads to more hits and more crits. It's just a very good thing to have. Let's see what we're going to do next. What strategy are we going to use? There's always the flexible thing, right? Taking out one of the monsters very early on. And there's also the other part, like going for the damage or going for the opponent that gets damaged most easily by the current character. That's like the two strategies. And what I've found mostly is that focusing down characters regardless of damage types and so on is usually far more effective than spreading damage. It's just the amount of damage that you don't get, the amount of stress and attack that you don't get, that makes this so much a better choice in the game. I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing. It's probably absolutely not good in realities. Now, yes, there's more and more going. Like now we have even priests, so they can heal each other up a bit. And it's important, kind of important to take them out. As you can see, they have one skull as well. So they're pretty tough opponents. And you can see that from how long we need for that. And look, these. So if you need be, you can let these barrels explode, and they will also a little bit at least solve the problem that you have at hand there. Not with the big ones, but with smaller ones like the one we have here. Okay. And this time, as you can see, we did it with a ranged weaponry to stay in place. They're all coming over. And this is, I think this is the third wave, right? So the third wave is composed of Algals. Algals are very, very strong. They're just Algals and ghouls in general do have very, very strong attacks. They do a lot of damage for them being such a basic opponent. Like as you've seen here, 74 damage hit. That's just unheard of. It's just crazy good for the ghouls, and there's more to support them here so that we have a true what could I say? GUL group or something like that. Going in. So we're hitting and hitting and hitting the ghouls, and they won't go down that quickly. As you can see, we even have like really a couple of them with crossbows and bows. We might really go for a wall, just because the wall is so good and will solve so many problems. We don't really care if Adonan gets hit too, because Adonan is pretty resistant. If you have someone who is so good at defending, then it can be okay to leave them in. And that's like especially good if you want to keep something closed, if you want to execute a combo on some enemies, if you want to uphold some debuffs that you've been stacking on them. All in all, it's just a very, very good tactic. Now we have the wall there. A couple of things are just getting better. Like the constant damage is really not bad. I mean, now we're in deep trouble, but we'll hopefully recover that. As you can see that the ranged ghouls, they are doing an enormous amount of damage. So we brought back Quoril from the dead with the help of the Paladin ability, where you can, like instantly as a free action, you can revive someone. And that's just, of course, that's going to be the priest. The priest can then revive if needed. Yeah, so taking them down step by step. It's all pretty tough thing. Now we're getting a little bit more healing in. But the amount of damage and like the sages we have here, the pistols, it's just crazy. It's just another thing of endurance. That's probably one of the hardest endurance trials I've done, I think. It's just how they line up. It's and on and on and on they go, and they have so many hit points. Even if we hit well, even if we do well, it's like a crazy amount of damage that's going into that. Boom, and like we got another one at least. And we'll keep fighting on and on. The Wall of Many Colors does good things to us, and let's heal again, because that's what we are, right? A healer, and we'll use our points as well, probably to recover the spells, because it's just so much. It's just so much. Note that we cannot do that as a blood mage, so Gurstine doesn't have that option. She must sacrifice her health to get access to more spells. Oh, let's see how this is going forward. There's a lot. Yeah, let's have some growth going, so we can regenerate a bit. And as you can see, the ancient vampires also like to cast things, and I think occasionally, as it's typical for vampires, they can also be they can also dominate. And we are using one of the favorite spells that has grown on me, like the Calicos Minor Blessings. That will give you like a random damage type against opponents, but also area damage. That's just so good. That often penetrates, and it often affects enemies where you wouldn't Yeah, so trashing that. It's unending. It's an unending, and there's still some lying around, right? The beauty of the Crucible, this like flower-like thing here is tainted with blood and everything. It's pretty crazy. We're mauling through them. Now on the GUL Marksman, I think. Using everything that we have, and just Kevaver is staying on one, and the rest is assisting, probably Adonan. I don't know why, because Kevaver can also like counterattack, like he can riposte. And that's kind of a big thing in these long fights, because it really adds up if you have people attacking you that don't really hit you, and then you'll get a counterattack in. That makes that's a lot of fun. It's maybe not that big impactful. If you want to play the game successfully in lower levels without scaling, you could be okay with that. So there could be like someone quick playing. But this, there's more ghouls now. Wow, so many ghouls. It's an incredible amount of ghouls. I don't even know. I think that's even more ghouls than at the start. But it's only ghouls now, not all ghouls or other things. Is this a last wave? I kind of doubt it, because there's ghouls are annoying. They are taking up resources, but they are not like inspiring or something like that, or they're not inspiring fear or danger. Something like that is not on their agenda. It's just they're hitting and they're, as you can see, they're surrounding Adonan. He's glowing. I think he took that Adra vial that we got, and we got the spirit guide, and yeah, he'll also help us. And yeah, we're just spawning everything in the hope of us getting through this. We'll use everything that we have, but I still doubt that it will be enough. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it could have been enough. It's just pretty good. Taking them on with a chill fog, like making them slow and damage over time and blind and so on. That's a pretty big thing. In general, you can handle these fights better if your enemies, of course, group together, and you can handle them worse if they go into or behind the lines. And so one of the main things you must do is develop a strategy to eliminate people that are behind the lines, because they're just the target that you need to target. They'll screw you with your plans, or they'll even screw your plans. And the rest of them, you can just bombard them with fire or something from the skies, like we do here. Boom. And still healing, still going on, still going forward with a spiritual ally and everything. Yeah. Now even the elemental goes down. It's crazy what we do here. Kind of on the last leg, but still saving resources. And we are really missing Lord Paul. Lord Paul has quite a number of impressive damage on them. Going on and on and on and on and on, and it seems like maybe this could end now. Could it end now? That would be great, eh? That would be great. Let's see. Already prepared. Oh no. And it's Algals again, of course. It's a lot of Algals and ranged opponents, and we just have to Just have to get through there, step by step by step, calmly, diligently, taking these out methodically. And Adonan, even Adonan has trouble surviving against so many of these ghouls because they flank and they do quite a lot of damage and debuffs with that thumbs down spell, right? We're getting there and decreasing their might, increasing ours. And the Calicos Minor Blights are just very, very good for situations like this because you get area damage at a very cheap price, and it's not limited to anything, and it will not damage your friends, so we can just fire it in the middle of it, and you can see that we did, I think, damage to 6 of these, which is just crazy. It's just very, very good. So we'll see further where we're debuffing, doing anything and everything that we can. Further and further we go. And regeneration again and again and again. Because we just have to do this one, or maybe more. Maybe more. Let's see what. Now they even have their own spiritual ally with them. That's just great. You can see we pound on them and pound, and they're still there. They're still there. That's the only choice we have, is taking it slow and methodically. And look at how the flowers, the plants grow here. That's a beautiful spell. Like, it's a little bit light to see, but a little bit. It's just beautiful to see that. And Lord Paw is lying down there, and we are just doing damage. Because doing damage is, as I understood it, basically free. Yeah. Take them down step by step. Slowly, methodically, step by step by step. And that's a thing that's, of course, quicker in turn-based, not in turn-based, in real time with pause a little bit, because everyone can attack at the same time. Everyone's glowing here now because of the regeneration that we started, but all in all, yeah, we're still just holding on. We're not in a bad situation, but we might have to drop some potions. I don't really know what exactly, or if this is even the last round. But we have to be like patient, because it can always be not the last round. It can be the round before the last round, or even there might be two rounds after that. I mean, it's a challenge of the survivor, and the challenge of the survivor is mostly about hanging on more. So healing is a pretty good thing, and of course focusing down opponents or mass destroying them is also a good thing, but the main thing is hanging on, and with a hanging on and not using resources, you're setting yourself up for always the next situation. And you only really use big spells when you're out of options, when you have no other choice. You use, for interrupts, you use like the lowest valued spells or abilities you have. Just keep the other abilities for the better. And there's always this instinct from the normal fights, not the Crucible, to use the big spells at the start to take out the opposition quickly. And that's a good instinct. But in the fights of the survivor, that doesn't really work that well. It's really about hanging on all the time. And we've chosen this path, and as this is also like this party setup, it's really built around that, with a blood mage and with a priest druid, just to keep on doing stuff. Yeah, of course, a rogue and a ranger also do good things, and theoretically the pet should also have sustainable damage. But it's really, I mean, Lord Paw is just going down all the time to these, and it's like in 1 or 2 rounds, because there's just a cap to the usefulness of pets. Some when there's just not enough armor or something, or not enough abilities to stop the attack on the pets, at least on the hardest level. I mean, on the other levels, it's not that bad. The pets will survive if you gear them up for it, right? Lord Paw is a capable tank, at least for a couple of rounds. But in these hardest levels, it's very usual that he just goes down after a bit. And we did it. We defeated them. I didn't think it would ever end. The original thing here had a length of over 2 hours, so that's what I compressed. I mean, I wanted to keep it up, but I lost the sound, and it's a shame, but I'm really happy we did it. And now, of course, we have to rest, and we'll go for something cool, and that's a pretty good thing. So, not forgetting, again, not going in with wounds on. And for the next time, we'll go for the next challenge. Thank you for watching. This will be the Razorback back against pigs, apparently.